Hi, everybody, and welcome to the February 22nd, 2017 ZBA meeting. The next meeting will be on March 29th, 2017. If you could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Fran, you can stay seated. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first things, anyone who plans on testifying this evening, if you plan on speaking for or against or speaking on behalf of any petition, if you could please stand to be sworn in. If you plan to do any speaking tonight, I need to swear you in. So please stand, raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you very much. Rich, you read the preamble.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will proceed with the petitions in the order they are listed on the agenda unless the board deems it appropriate to take a petition out of order. State law and local ordinances set out the criteria that must be met in order for this board to grant a request. The minimum requirements are outlined on the form provided by the Community Development Office, and the petitioner should proceed with this format to provide adequate justification for the board to grant the request. The chair will then open the meeting to hear testimony either for or against the request. All decisions will be between the speaker and the board. Please be respectful of all. In the interest of time, refrain from repeating previous testimony. No new documentation will be accepted by the board for consideration this evening, but the board reserves the right to ask for additional testimony at any time. After hearing the facts from all parties regarding a petition, the chairman will close the public hearing, and the board will deliberate and vote on the request before moving on to the next petition. Please turn off all cell phones and pagers.
Thank you, Rich. A couple of housekeeping items. When you come down to speak, please make sure that you sign in on the clipboard and also make sure that the green light on the microphone is on. We are also going to be moving two petitions. On the dockets this evening, we have petition number 6, which is a variance permitting a school bus operation facility. We're actually going to move that up in front of the appeal for administrative decision, which is number 5. So number 6 will be number 5, and number 5 will be number 6. First, we have a full board this evening, so we will start with Barlow Signs for St. Joseph's Hospital, petitioner, and KGB Ventures LLC, owner, variance under section 17.10.4 of the zoning ordinance to permit the addition of a 17.53 square foot to an existing wall sign, whereas 126.25 square feet is allowed per previous variance. The parcel is located at 4 Dobson Way in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation District, tax map 3D, lot 003-003-02, case number 2017.04. If you are going to be standing, we do have a roaming mic as well. If you could just state your name, and then we'll go by the, I think it's the 5 points, and stop after each point.
My name is Bob Demers. I'm a tenant.
Make sure your mic's on, or pull it.
Oh, there you go.
All right, there you go.
Sorry.
Let's go.
My name is Bob Demers. I'm with St. Joseph Hospital. I'm with the tenant at 4 Dobson Way.
Okay.
My name is Paul Martin. I'm here with Barlow Signs.
Make sure your mic's on.
Sure. My name is Paul. Sorry. My name is Paul Martin. I'm here with Barlow Signs.
Okay, excellent. If you want to give us just a real quick synopsis of what you're doing or what you're looking to do, that would be fine, and then we'll go into the 5 points.
Sure. So what we have is we have an existing sign that was 1'7" by 13 feet, 11.5. We plan on adding approximately 10 inches to that, and we're asking for the sign to be 29 inches by 13 feet, 11.5. As stated, you were saying it's going to be approximately 17 square feet additional of signage. It's actually going to be closer to about 13 square feet because we're only adding on to this box. It's just that the way that we have to square off. We have to square off the whole sign when we're looking for to add the total calculation.
So you're looking to add the specialty services section?
Sure.
Okay, excellent. Could you read through the 5 points that you from the form you got from community development?
Sure.
We're going to stop after each point in case there's any questions from the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Granting the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because the proposed addition of the existing fascia sign is minimal and within the scale of the existing storefront. The addition of this minimal copy change will not significantly alter viewership of the site to the public and therefore will not be harmful or contrary to public interest. The public appreciates signage that is in harmony with its surrounding, and our proposal assists the wayfinding public in identifying the services of St. Joseph's in a clean, clear way.
Anybody from the board? You proceed.
Sure. The spirit of the ordinance will be observed because our proposal will not adversely affect the surrounding properties of St. Joseph's, nor will the new sign threaten the public safety or welfare. Letting the public know this property now has specialty services and updating the sign to reflect this does not contradict the spirit of the ordinance. Clarifying what type of services are provided also does not contradict the spirit of the ordinance, as our minimal proposal supports the ordinance attempts to help businesses identify their services.
Anybody? Okay. All right.
Granting the variance would do substantial justice because the public needs the viewing time. This sign will allow the motorists traveling the very busy and fast-moving thoroughfare adjacent to St. Joseph's storefront. Our new sign clears up what is offered on site in the same viewing plane.
Anybody? Okay.
For the following reasons, the values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished because St. Joseph's Hospital Family Medicine and Specialty Services is located on a highly traveled thoroughfare surrounded by businesses. Their neighbor directly to the left enjoys a larger sign than permitted by the zoning ordinance and larger than our proposed sign, should the board grant our request. The addition of minimal signage that helps motorists quickly identify the services of this location and to safely enter the property will in no way diminish the surrounding properties.
Continue.
Okay. As far as the unnecessary hardship, for number one, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of the provision to the property because the setback of St. Joseph's Family Medicine and Specialty Services from Dobson Way and beyond makes it difficult for the motorist to easily locate this property. The Merrimack sign ordinance does not speak to building fascias, which are unique due to the setback or orientation to the main thoroughfares. Not all motorists visiting the site will know the area or will be from Merrimack.
Number two.
The proposed use is a reasonable one because St. Joseph's Family Medicine and Specialty Services shares its parcel with an additional medical service. It's imperative to the wayfinding public can easily locate their destination as they navigate through Camp Sargent Road and Dobson Way. The added setback of the business's storefront coupled with this parcel's lack of freestanding identification, monument, or ground sign will create a visual hardship for the business.
Any questions on section 5? Okay. In closing, is there, or on your behalf, is there anything else that you wanted to add? I guess I'm kind of curious as to why the change now, as opposed, is it
That's a
because
good
of
question.
because of the competition? Or?
No, it's, right now, we're listed as a family practice.
Right.
And we want to bring some specialty services into the community on occasion, like orthopedic surgeons. So those are our specialists, so we want to be able to identify them as a specialty service, and they're not really part of family medicine. So when they're present at the facility, at least we're identifying the facility as having specialty services as well as family medicine.
Okay. Question? No? Oh. All right. If there's no questions, I'll open this up to the public. Is there anybody out there that'd like to speak in favor of this petition? Okay. Is there anybody out there that'd like to speak against this petition? All right. I'll close the public hearing. Can I have any further discussion from the board?
Can I make a motion?
By all means.
I'd like to make a motion to grant Barlow Signs for St. Joseph's Hospital and KGB Ventures LLC the variance under section 17.10.4 of the zoning ordinance to permit the addition of 17.53 square feet to an existing wall sign, whereas 126.25 square feet is allowed per previous variance. The parcel is located at 4 Dobson Way in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation Districts, tax map 3D, lot 003-003-02, case number 2017-04, And
No comments?
No covenants.
Okay, second the motion.
Fran seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, 6-0-0. Congratulations.
Thank you for your
Thank you very much.
Do you have 30 days that somebody could appeal?
Correct.
So if you proceed within 30 days, it will be at your own risk. But other than that, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, next up is that Rochette?
Rochette.
Rochette's.
Rochette's.
Rochette's Oil Service, Inc. petitioner and Willie Real Estate LLC owner. Variance under section 2.02.3B of the zoning ordinance to permit the expansion of an existing non-conforming fuel storage and distribution business. The parcel is located at 658 Daniel Webster Highway in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation Districts and Wellhead Protection Area, tax map 6E-2, lot 013, case number 2017-05. Just make sure your mics are on and just state your names for the record, please.
My name is Matt Buckley.
Okay.
Ralph Freeman.
Ralph Freeman, okay. If you just want to give us kind of like a kind of real quick 5-minute, overview on what we're doing, and then, what? Less than 5 minutes.
I'll be quick.
Real quick overview, and then we'll go into the 5 points as we did with the last petition.
Thank you. We have an existing 500-gallon propane storage tank in the front of our building that feeds gas for our building heating needs, as well as some fireplace displays. We're looking to put up to 1,000-gallon tank in with a dispensing station, which means that we can fill 20-pound barbecue cylinder tanks for our customers and people in the community.
Okay. If you could go in the 5 points, we'll stop after each
Sure.
one.
Rochette Energy is looking to upgrade our existing 500-gallon propane tank that supplies fuel to our office building. We're looking to upgrade to a 1,000-gallon tank and also add a pumping station to the system. This will allow us to make retail propane sales from our office building to our customers in the community.
Any questions? Number two? Go ahead.
Rochette Energy is of the understanding that all local mechanical codes and setbacks are currently met and will not change when upgrading this tank and adding the fuel dispenser.
Questions?
I will have after they're done.
Okay.
I do have a question. So, your current tank sits in front of the building,
Correct.
and this larger tank would reside in the same place?
Correct.
I guess my questions are, what mechanisms will be used to prevent a motorist from potentially driving into said station?
Okay, good question. Currently, we do have crash protection in front of, on both sides of the tank that we have now. Additional crash protection will be installed, as well as every pumping station that we install has a chain link fence that is locked, because we do have some equipment in there that we wouldn't want people to tamper with as well.
Okay, so I guess, this being New England and all.
Sure.
Let's say a big SUV were to come barreling through, would this be able to penetrate those barriers?
Well, they're lolly column crash stations, same as in front of a natural gas meter or a propane tank that's on the side of your home and your driveway. So if an SUV or a tractor trailer ran off the road, chances are it could knock out one of the crash protection barriers. Propane tanks are made out of 1/2-inch steel. They have a shut-off device, so if a piece of pipe were to break, there's a slug check that seals that tank and the volume that's inside of it. So they have safety things to sort of prevent all of a sudden losing a tank of gas.
Okay, the only reason that I bring that up is because when we're talking about the spirit of the ordinance, I think there's a lot of reasons why it would make sense to basically grant a variance to break something, but I guess, I know you'll get into this in the next point, but I'm a little concerned that this may actually not be observing the spirit of the ordinance, because we're now setting, and you're right that the current tank is out of code right now, but with there being a larger tank and a dispensary added to the tank, that could potentially add some security risk and or health hazard to anyone that's servicing the tanks. So I guess that's my thought right there.
Okay.
Do you want me?
You could adjust, go ahead.
So, I mean, health hazards, we follow, in our industry, in our company specifically, we follow a program called CTEP. It stands for Certified Employee Training Program. That program has 9 modules of classroom plus field experience that all of our employees that touch propane are certified in. And the same would go for anybody that would be operating that dispensary. It's not a kid pumping your gas. It's a trained propane technician that would fill these bottles.
But that technician could also, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate here, that technician could be in physical risk should a vehicle hit a patch of ice and head towards this tank while they're dispensing. And, if they do hit it while it's dispensing, I don't know how the safety measures work on a dispensary to know if that's going to not allow a backflow if there happens to be some type of explosion. So I guess that's when the part that I'm kind of scratching my head is I totally get the tanks are very safe. It's the dispensary side that I'm a little bit concerned with, because you have someone operating it who could get hit by a vehicle because it's so close to the road, or if it's in the process of filling, I don't know what the security measures are where there wouldn't be an explosion to cause backflow into the tank that would ultimately cause a tank. So I'm not familiar enough with the system, is what I'm saying,
Okay.
to know if something blows up right next to the dispensary while it's dispensing, is that going to cause the tank to detonate? Because the walls may be thick enough, but the safety mechanism for the actual dispenser, is that going to survive an explosion if one should occur next to it? And I only say that because it's so close to the road, that's all.
Sure. So piping that we use for propane tanks and especially dispensaries are Schedule 80 pipe. It's double the diameter of something that you'd use in your home or for a sprinkler system, which is Schedule 40 pipe, along with electrical connections. By NFPA code, all have to be explosion proof. So if your car were to blow up next to the tank, that vessel is deemed explosion proof, and it has to be done that way through NFPA code. I mean, could somebody slide off the road? I mean, sure, I guess they could kill somebody coming in to pay a bill, but we don't. I guess we're not too worried about a car taking out the pump and causing a major problem, because there are those safety things that are in check now.
So if the dispensary is actively pumping a 20-pound tank, and so the station's actively servicing a tank, and a car were to crash into such said tank, that would not. There are measures that would prevent a backflow from going into the larger tank.
Yes, if there's a certain drop in pressure in that vessel on the bottom of the tank, it has what we call a slug check. So when that instant pressure drops, it slugs that shut. Similar to when you put gasoline in your car, if you were to leave the nozzle in the side of it and drive off, that has the brake, quick brake. That hose has the same brake. So if something happened and the hose snapped off on one end, it's got the quick connect shut off there. Again, that's made out of the explosion proof material. So it's pretty tight.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I don't know.
Okay, Mr. Chair?
Yep, number 3.
Number 3.
Oh, I'm
Like to
sorry.
ask a
I'm sorry, you have a
question.
question. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Okay, the last time I talked to Bob Sari, Rye Energy was in the process of buying Rochettes. Now, is this still going to keep the name of Rochette, or is it going to be changed to Rye Energy?
Currently, it's staying as Rochette.
So
There's
it'll,
nothing in.
because I know if we have to call for oil, we usually land up with Rye Answering Service.
Yeah, Rochette Oil Service is a DBA under Rye Energy, or actually Rye Fuel Company in Portsmouth. And so the phone rings at both locations, and the customers are being serviced out of both locations. But Rochette Oil Service is being operated as Rochette Oil Service.
Okay. So,
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because, like I said, I knew it was in the process of being sold and transitioned.
okay.
Yeah, it actually was, we acquired Rochette Oil Service in 2012. So.
But wasn't there a year or two period where there was a transition?
How was the relevance?
Well, I just didn't know if it was, should have been Rye here
Oh,
instead
okay.
of Rochette's. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Number 3.
Number 3, this will allow Rochette Energy to continue to serve its customers and dispense propane gas safely in the community. This will also allow the residents of Merrimack another retail option to fill portable propane tanks.
Questions? Question? Number 4.
This will only add value and exposure to the surrounding buildings and businesses by increasing awareness and adding additional foot traffic.
Okay. Questions? All right. Number 5.
Number 5, Rochette Energy is an existing full-service oil and propane company that currently has retail petroleum storage on site. Upgrading the existing tank size and adding a dispensing pump will only continue to build Rochette's core business model.
Okay. I'm not sure how that would apply to no fair and substantial relationship exists between general purpose and the ordinance provision. Can you go on to number 2?
Yes. Rochette Energy is simply looking to improve our facility and improve on the service that we provide to the community. We are currently delivering propane gas to our customers' homes, and we would like to also be able to dispense propane safely at our retail customers at our facility.
Okay. Because I kind of had a question on number 1, I actually want to have B read into it as well, which
Okay.
is the second part of that.
Rochette Energy feels that since this property is already an existing petroleum depot, that a propane dispensing pump only makes sense. We feel like we are the propane experts in the community, with safety being our first concern. Granting Rochette this pumping station will allow a safe retail site in Merrimack.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Concerns? Rob, is this going to planning after this, or?
That is a recommended condition, yes.
Okay. Any comments from you, Lynn? I mean, I know you're, okay. I guess I'll kind of go first. My question is, I guess, how much, I've driven by the facility, how much, so the tank's gonna go lengthwise, right? Or is it gonna go
Horizontal.
horizontal?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and the pumping station will be probably where the parking lot area is?
Correct.
On that end, yes.
It doesn't seem like you guys have a lot of spots there. I mean, can you accommodate? I mean, you figure people be in and out, but can you? How many cars can you accommodate? I'm just kind of curious from a safety standpoint.
Well, there's
I mean,
3 to
people
4
pulling
right
in,
in
pulling
front of the
out.
building, right at the front door where the fill station will be. And then on the other side, where some employees park right now, there's an additional at least 3 to 4, possibly 6, because the employees can park in the back.
And you're going to have a certified, well, because I know you probably have people inside that collect for the bills and do that. You're going to have a certified technician that can come out and fill, that'll be there all the time during operating hours, because I don't know
Yes, sir.
if everyone in the company has the certification that you said, but
No. Everyone has certification to the basics of propane, but the people that would be doing the dispensing would be completely certified. It's company policy. Not every company goes by these codes and goes by CTEP. We go by CTEP with all employees. No one is allowed to do any working on propane equipment or dispensing propane without going through the CTEP classes and
So,
passing.
no, and I was looking at the diagram of the program. I'm going to say, is this similar to the one that Hammer Hardware used to have behind their facility? Is that what I'm thinking of? Is that? I don't know if
Yeah,
you remember that.
sure.
It was, they used to have a pump station
Yeah, I'm
out
not
back
familiar
there.
with
You're not
it.
familiar with it. I'm just wondering if it's the same type of setup. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
If you,
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember
and there's
or not.
one, I don't remember that one specifically, but I mean, it's just, basically what we have is we have our tank,
Uh-huh.
and we'll have a stainless steel box that's about as big as this desk right here, that's got locking doors on it.
Okay.
Inside that box, we have our pump. It has a meter on it. We also have a scale, because every tank that we fill to weight.
Right.
And then that is, if you can picture this, on the edge of the propane tank, and then I have my supply pipes on the bottom here, so it's kind of all concealed.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing that was over at Hammer.
They're sort of generic. We all
Yeah.
buy them from the same suppliers. They come as one almost ready-made kit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have any other questions. Are there any other questions from people on the board?
No.
Lynn?
Why is this going before the planning board? Parking?
That's part of it. That's part of it, but also just because it's a change to the site, and I believe that the actual, because it's pre-existing non-conforming, I don't know that the
Okay.
staff actually has much records, so.
And just a clarification too, by the way, I put in this that the existing tank is a 500, the existing tank is a 250.
Oh,
Just to
okay.
be completely,
So, from a space standpoint, I guess is the other question, because I was looking at you're pretty tight on your property lines there.
we've measured it out, and you have to be, by NFPA code, you have to be 25 feet from the building, 25 feet from the road, 25 feet from the butters, the property lines, and we have that.
Yeah,
I believe we did we put together a diagram on the map, on the plot map.
Okay.
That shows the setbacks.
All right. Any other questions?
I do have a question.
I'm sorry. Tony? He had his hand up first.
Oh, go ahead.
The old tank will come out, and, it'll go back into service if we put it at somebody's house or something of that nature.
Another question, if I go back a little further, you said foot traffic. You lost me on that one.
Well, when I meant foot traffic, I meant people driving in, getting out of their car, filling our,
We've had a lot of requests from customers, that come in and pay their bills, and, well, why don't you fill grill tanks, and why don't you, and provide that service also, and so that's one of the main reasons we decided to finally do it, is
Okay.
to service our existing customers and anyone else in the community that would.
One more other question, and I'll get off, and then Rich can talk to you. Are you gonna leave any tanks in the cage? For instance,
No.
somebody will come in and say, I'll be picking it up at 4 o'clock. If 4 o'clock comes around and there's nobody there.
So what we have in the back of our building where we keep our propane truck is a locked, fenced-in cage, again, for security purposes. It's sort of adjacent to our oil depot, and I think just from our own company image, I know I don't like to drive by a place and see tanks and old scrap yards and things. So from our image perspective, we're not going to do that. But we wouldn't just leave a tank out for somebody to come pick it up.
No, I mean, you would leave it inside the cage.
We would, if it was 4 o'clock and, the last bell and everybody had to go home, we would lock the tank in the back and we'd have to give it to them the next business day.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Rich?
So, aside from any delivery trucks, are there any other propane tanks on the property?
There are customer tanks that we have there to install at a customer's house that are purged. They get purged when they go out to the customer's house with 20 gallons of product in them. But on the property, we do have, on occasion, have tanks that come back from a customer's property that may have more than 20% in them.
Oh,
But they're-
I'm sorry. I think I asked the wrong question. Do you have anything else on the property that dispenses propane?
No.
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 Okay, so
Other
this would
than
be the
other than
only-
the propane truck itself, and it doesn't dispense propane on the property, other than purging tanks.
Okay, so it would be either this tank or that truck. That's the only two ways propane exits this building, basically?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you.
What's the size of the largest propane tanks from homes that you?
From
you
homes
have any
that
from
we
the
would
homes?
fill, or
Yeah,
that we
That you
deliver
would
to.
make a delivery to a home to, like,
The largest retail residential tank that we see in the field is a 1,000-gallon tank.
1,000 gallons?
1,000
And do you
gallon.
have any of those on the property, or,
No,
no?
no.
Those are special order. If we have 1,000-gallon tanks or 500-gallon tanks, we order them, pick them up at the supplier, and take them right to the site
Okay,
to
so
install.
at this point, what would be the largest size tank you have on the property? Say that you picked up from a resident to bring back
A hun-
here that would say have 20, 30, 40% still left in it.
100-gallon.
100 gallons?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions?
But you're not setting up an exchange program where somebody can come in and bring their tank and take one that you've got in the exchange?
No, we're going to fill their tanks.
Okay. All right, unless there's anything else? All right, I'm going to open up the public hearing. Is there anybody that'd like to speak for this petition? Is there anybody that'd like to speak against this petition? Okay, going to close the public hearing. Anything from the board? Conversations, thoughts, discussions?
And this is just a comment. I think that given the material that we have, it's kind of hard to assess the security of, and I'm sure there are codes that are going to be met. My only concern is that, when I think of these tanks, I think of places where it's kept out back and the station, the actual pump is facing away from the parking lot. This pump is not facing towards the parking lot. My only concern is that I can't really see with the documentation I have in front of me that this would be adequately protected against a vehicle crashing into it while they're in the parking lot or an accident from the adjacent street. So I'm just a little bit concerned, and I'm sure there is protection. I can't see it in the documentation, that's all.
Okay. Do you want to address that, or?
And just that crash protection is something that we add to every pump station and every tank that is in proximity to where vehicles can go. Again, a lolly column or a jersey barrier is only as, it's only as good as what it's designed for. So a tractor trailer, could take out the best crash protection. It could, could come in our front door and land in somebody's desk if that were the the path of where the truck was going on ice. So I mean we're gonna certainly protect it, the vessel and the pump and everything the best that that we can and up to code.
Any other further discussion, questions? Can I have a motion? Tony?
Okey dokey. Yeah, that's good. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for variance under section 202.3B of the zoning ordinance to permit the expansion of an existing non-conformal fuel storage and distribution business. The parcel is located at 658 Daniel Webster Highway in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation District and Wetland Protection Area. Tax map 6E-2, lot 013, case 2017-05.
Is this a petition 4? Petition 4?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Petition to grant?
Yes.
Okay, grant. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, there's a condition, if you could read the condition. Bob, sorry.
Where did I read the condition?
The condition is printed.
Yeah, should the board vote, all right, condition, petitioner shall obtain planning board approval for the proposed expansion of the existing legal non-conformational use.
So you need to go to planning board.
Okay.
Okay. If we, so.
Sorry
and-
about that, I didn't see that.
And Lynn, Lynn seconds? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? One. And abstain? Okay. So it is 5-1-0. Oh, sorry, 4-1-0. 4-1-0. Petition passes. You have 30 days to someone can come back and appeal. But no one appeals within 30 days, then good luck. Congratulations.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
What?
Lenny,
Should have been, it should have been 5. 5. My mistake. It's my first time doing this. I'm just kidding. All right, next petition. Gregory E. Michael, Bernstein, Sher, Sawyer, and Nelson, PA, and Student Transportation, Inc., petitioners, and John Zyla, owner, variance under section 2.02.3 of the zoning ordinance to permit a school bus operation facility. The parcel is located at 534 Daniel Webster Highway and 6 William Street in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation Districts and Wellhead Protection Area, tax map 6D lots 001-01 and 001-02, case number 2017-08. So, just for the board, you want to go to your packet for number 6. All right. If you could sign in, state your names,
We're signing in now.
and just give us a less than 5-minute explanation of what we're looking at, and then we'll go into the 5 points.
Sure. Michael Class, excuse me, I've been working with Attorney Greg Michael on this, attorney from Bernstein Schur, on behalf of the applicant Student Transportation Incorporated. With me is Greg Stinson from STI, as we refer to that entity, and Tom Zajac is an engineer here with Hayner Swanson Incorporated. The owner of this property, the Xylas, they're actually behind us. And I will use 30 seconds and just note that as the board acknowledged, we're taking these slightly out of order compared
Yes.
to what I requested. Our position is that we don't need a variance because of and I just
Okay, I'll let you state it, but if this variant, the reason we moved it, because if this variance passes, then that's a moot point.
Correct, and I just want to articulate for the record that we proceed at the pleasure of the board with no problem, as long as we all understand that in doing so, there's no sort of prejudice to the administrative appeal if we have to get there at the end of the night.
Understandable.
So thank you for your time. And with that said, so before you on this plan and in your packet, we're here seeking a variance from 2.02.3B, which is permitted uses in the C2 zoning district. And the purpose for this variance is to allow STI to use the property for a full-service school bus operation facility.
Okay.
I will let Greg introduce STI ever so briefly before I get into the project.
Good evening. Again, my name is Greg Stinson. I'm the Vice President of Operations for Student Transportation of America. We are the current school transportation partner of the Merrimack School District. We have been contracted since 2012 with the Merrimack School District. Our existing contract expires in 2021, and we currently operate at our 14 Star Drive location.
So the property at issue is serviced. It's actually comprised of 2 lots as depicted on that plan. We refer to it as lot 1-2 and 1-1. They're both owned by the Xylas. There is an existing structure on the front lot, 1-1. A portion of that, as proposed in this project, would it help if I demonstrate, or are we all on the same page?
I think we're on the same page. We're good.
So a portion of the existing structure would be taken down. The front portion would remain. In place of the back portion, a 2-bay maintenance garage would be constructed, and a fuel island would be placed behind that, sort of near where the end of the building exists.
Now, are these to service the buses for Merrimack School District or for Regional School District?
The Merrimack School District exclusively.
Exclusively. And you say you have that contract through till?
2021.
2021, okay.
So just to be very clear, this is no sort of use beyond STI serving the town of Merrimack.
Okay.
So this is no public use. This is just for the school fleet in town. There's bus parking proposed for the back of the rear lot, approximately 55 buses, sort of tucked behind the current vault motor storage. The total acreage of the two parcels are just over 4 1/4 acreage. The
Okay.
neighbor.
I'm just going to stop real
Sure.
quick. I'm sorry. You're parking behind Vault? The Vault, actually, if you're going to stand and use the mic. Yeah. Because behind the Vault is a ditch and then the highway.
Excuse me, does this work? So I strike the word behind.
Okay.
Okay,
My behind is to the east.
you got it.
So
Okay.
and I apologize for.
Okay.
No, because behind the Vault is
No,
literally a ditch and then the
Yeah,
highway.
no, I know,
so
it's
you're
a
not getting
turnpike.
55
It's a
buses
turnpike.
in
You're
there.
not going to
That's
park much there.
Okay, all
So
right.
yeah, so this is depicted on this dashed line, 55
Okay.
plus parking spots here, and so it's in the rear portion of the property.
Next to the Vault.
Correct. So just to the east of the vault, so
Yep.
we're sort of in between this subdivision bulb and the rear building of the vault.
Gotcha. All right.
And so it's marked as such on the plans, which might be a little small for you to see. Okay.
All right.
Apologize for the,
That's okay, it just a
You
little
caught a couple
confusion
of
there.
us.
no, you cut both of you, so
You woke us up.
at least you're listening.
All right, so, yeah, if you could read the 5 points, and we have questions between each.
Okay. And I will just quickly note that the purpose of this lot really assists STI's operation of the school fleet. It decreases the total mileage, which obviously has an impact on labor costs, and it also allows for the use of bulk fuel, which is something that current facility is not able to utilize. So that said, I will move to the statutory criteria here.
Thanks.
So granting this variance will not be contrary to the public interest. And as this board has heard many times, the courts have said to be contrary to the public interest, a variance must unduly and in marked degree conflict with the ordinance such that it violates with the ordinance basic zoning objectives. In this case, section 2.02.3a notes that the primary function of the C2 district is to serve a regional and or local shopping and service need. Moreover, in a general sense, the goal of allowing specific uses in specific zoning districts is to ensure sort of safe, compatible, and reasonable uses of property within the town. Here, the proposed facility would serve a local need by enabling school bus service for the Merrimack School District. Moreover, the proposed use is not inconsistent with the other allowed uses within the district, including parking lot areas for motor vehicles, which are allowed by right, and a gas or automobile station and public facility, which are permitted with special exception. Additionally, the proposed use is reasonable and appropriately cited, given the property's central location within the town, and in light of the fact that it abuts Everett Turnpike and enjoys multiple points of access from Daniel Webster Highway and William Street. Finally, the proposed use of the property is consistent with the primary goal of the zoning ordinance to promote the town's health, safety, convenience, and general welfare. In light of the above, the required relief does not, in an unduly or marked degree, conflict with the purpose of the ordinance, and granting the variance will not be contrary to the public interest.
Great. Any questions?
You mentioned abutting the Everett. No, I understand what it is,
Sure.
but what was the reason for mentioning that?
Just that sort of severs, in my mind, that severs this piece of land. I mean, the neighborhood on the other side, it sort
Okay,
of
I got it. You're fine.
captures it. Not to mention that there's a lot of traffic on that. So this is
That's okay.
so this is a commercial area next to two streets with a lot of traffic, and so it's consistent to have a vehicle parking facility here.
Pat?
Yes, sorry, Tony.
You're gonna have a fueling station there, right, for the gas, for the buses?
Correct.
There's no tank there now, is there?
No, correct.
So you're gonna put a tank in the ground?
Nope, it's going to be above ground.
It's gonna be above ground?
Correct. So it's not going to be subsurface. It's going to be above ground. It's going to be state of the art. It's going to require additional state permitting approvals from the DES. And I should mention, this is, if we're successful here, this is the first in many steps of permitting for this project. We need to go to Concom. We need to go to Planning Board. Tom, I believe we'll need an AOT permit. So we'll need to go to the state for several different permits. But yes, the fuel stand that's proposed there is above ground. It'll be, subject to the Planning Board's review in terms of safety. It's, as you can see, it's tucked back on the back of the first parcel, so it's safe and secure.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Why the fuel stand,
No, why you're doing it that way?
as opposed to underground?
Yes.
I don't know if underground, I mean, this is a watershed protection district, an aquifer district. I think it's safer, frankly, for all parties to have it above ground.
Thank you.
Number 2?
Okay. The spirit of the ordinance is observed, and this analysis is similar to the point I just read, so I'll be a little bit more brief here. But again, the general rationale for permitting certain uses in certain districts is to ensure the safe and reasonable use of the property, and the C2 district is intended to, in part, to provide local services. The proposed development would provide a necessary service for the town and one that would not alter the essential character of the property's locality and its zoning district. Moreover, this application proposes a use that's consistent with other similar uses that are allowed on the property. As such, the spirit of the ordinance, which ultimately seeks to promote health, safety, convenience, and welfare, is observed in the requested variance.
Anybody? Number 3?
Number 3, granting the variance would do substantial justice. Substantial justice is done when the loss of denying a variance exceeds the gain to the general public in in strictly enforcing the ordinance. Here, denying the requested variance will not result in an appreciable gain to the general public, given that the proposed use of the property would allow for an upgraded and more efficient school bus service in town. Moreover, the proposed development would be consistent with the present character of the neighborhood and not inconsistent with other permitted uses. On the other hand, denying the application will result in a substantial loss to the applicant by preventing the safe and reasonable development of a currently underutilized parcel. Denying the variance will also result in a loss to the town and its students by preventing an upgrade in the local school bus facility. As such, the loss of denying the variance greatly exceeds any public gain and warrants granting the application.
Questions? Number 4?
Number 4, the values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished. The requested relief will not diminish the character of the neighborhood, which includes various commercial uses along the central corridor of town and in between 2 heavily traveled roads. The proposal will allow for an underutilized piece of property to be cleaned up and redeveloped in a manner consistent with the neighborhood and allowed uses. As such, the proposed development will not impact the value of surrounding properties.
Questions? Okay.
All right. 5th and finally, as to the unnecessary hardship piece, owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because no fair or substantial relationship exists between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. In this case, the property is special and unique in its size, central location in town, and in the C2 zoning district, along with its specific location abutting the Turnpike, DW Highway, and William Street, with multiple points of access from DW Highway and William Street. These specific attributes come together to create a parcel that's particularly well suited for the proposed school bus facility. Here, the intent of allowing specific uses in the C2 zoning district is to ensure safe and appropriate use of the property within the zone. This proposal seeks to redevelop an underutilized parcel of land in a manner that's consistent with the allowed uses and consistent with the character of the neighborhood. Furthermore, this application will enable a facility upgrade and a more efficient school bus facility, which will ultimately benefit the town. As such, the intent of the ordinance is honored in this proposal, and there's no substantial relationship between the general public purpose of Section 2.02.3A of the ordinance and its application to the property. And 2, the proposed use is reasonable because it seeks to redevelop an underutilized parcel of land in a manner that's consistent with the allowed uses and consistent with the character of the neighborhood.
Any questions from the board? Anybody? Actually, a couple questions. One, where are the buses coming now? Or where do you have the buses stored now?
14 Star Drive, so the south side of the
Okay.
site.
So, and you're saying there's going to be 55 buses there?
55 was the total with spares. Currently, there's 40 routes, so there's spare buses associated with that. So we were, obviously, this would give us capacity for any growth in the town if any additional routes are added within the next 10, 15 years.
So now, do you have 40 parking spots for all the drivers? Because I'm assuming the drivers are coming in there, they're going to need to...
Correct, yeah, they're included. The employee parking is also included on the plan.
Okay, that's because that's a pretty big chunk that's a lot of cars. And then you're having 2 bays for repair. And how many, so in addition to the 40 drivers that are going to be coming in to pick up their buses, how many full-time staff are going to be at the facility?
There are 4 full-time employees, or two maintenance technicians for take care of the preventative maintenance of the fleet. There's a manager and assistant manager dispatcher.
Okay. All right. And I mean, I guess the only concern I have is just an increased amount of traffic in a very heavily traveled area at that time of the morning. I've driven my kids to school, so I go down that road. So I know that would be, I mean, trying to make a right-hand turn out there with a bus or a left-hand turn out there would be...
And once the buses start going out there, they don't let the traffic go through. They wait to let all the other buses out. You're out there for 10, 15 minutes waiting for them.
But having a facility, I mean, that's a central point for a facility in this town. So, were there any other questions from the board or comments? Anything in closing that you wanted to add, or? You don't feel free, you don't have to if you don't have anything.
And no, we appreciate the board's
Right.
consideration, and obviously this is, this would be subject to multiple levels of further review, so some of these planning concerns that you have would be addressed in the planning context.
Okay. All right, well then I'm going to open this up for public discussion. Is there anybody out there that would like to speak in favor of the petition? Is there anybody out there that would like to speak against this petition? You'd like to speak against? Okay, you may come down. If you, gentlemen, could you, if you could just slide over. If you could just come down, sign in, and state your name for the record. Yeah, she was sworn. She was. If you could just sign in first and then have a seat. Hi.
Hi. My name is Carol Footer.
Okay.
I'm one of the abutters that didn't get mentioned in the presentation.
Okay.
I live at 536 Daniel Webster Highway or 1 William Street, depending on whether you're using a GPS or the fire department.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Lived there for 50 years. So there are 3 residences abutting this gas tank
Yes.
and whatnot. My problem is with the points of entry. Is there several points of entry, did he say, in and out of there?
I don't think that was mentioned. Actually, if you can just
Yeah.
direct, no, direct, ma'am, you direct your questions
Oh,
to
I'm
us.
sorry.
That's what I say. We can address that,
Okay.
but,
Because the William Street is it, in and out. Correct.
correct.
Right.
So, could you grab that mic for a second? I mean, I'm not, I guess, and that's, I didn't get clarification on whether or not they'd be coming out William Street or they would be coming out right, if they're on the Zyla lot, if they're coming out near where the vault is. It's William Street. That's where,
it.
okay, okay.
That's it. That's
All
a
right,
town
yeah.
street. That's it.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they would use the other side.
Okay, so the concern is the coming out William Street?
Yeah, in the morning, we have traffic backed up to Reed's Ferry Lumber quite often. I don't know how all of these buses are going to get in and out. There are also people working in the building that's not going to be taken down. There's a hairdresser in there that has customers. There's a karate school that needs parking for customers.
That's the old Summit building, isn't it?
Right, that's the building you're talking about.
Yeah.
Also, behind our house
Mm-hmm.
and behind where they want to, I don't know if you're going to have to fill in to make a
Actually,
parking
ma'am,
lot.
yeah, okay.
They're going to have to fill in to make a parking lot, cut down trees, is a very wet area. So much so that when that road was put in, there is at the end of our driveway, I don't know what it's called, but it's a catch basin
Okay,
with a pipe that goes out down that road towards, it's a little cul-de-sac down there.
uh-huh,
Okay, there's a pipe that goes underground, and there's another pipe that it connects with another culvert that goes under that road
okay,
that drains on our land and on Zyla's land.
okay,
Okay, due to dumping of a couple of tenants in that building, stumps, rocks, whatnot, that part of the wetland near Zyla's has been pretty much filled in. So now whenever it rains, all of that water comes into our land and then up the street into the parking lot of Zyla's, where they're going to be having trucks and whatnot.
yeah. And, okay, so, okay,
So now, if they fill that whole thing in to put 55 buses out there, where's that water going to go?
no, and it's a legitimate,
We're going to have a pool out back.
no, and it's a legitimate concern. That is really a little more on the planning board side. So
Okay.
with the planning board, the town planning board, and it's a common, we have this conversation a lot with folks. So the planning board looks at things like traffic flow. They look at fill. They look at drainage. They look at the use of the land itself.
Because we got the letter to come here.
Yeah, no, and it's because you're in a butter, you get it here. So what we look at is the zone. Is this a reasonable use for this parcel of land to look at and so we basically say, yeah, it would be a reasonable use, or no, it wouldn't be a reasonable use. But that's based upon the information that's presented to us. What we don't get into, and this is a planning board area, is drainage, traffic, to an extent. That's a planning board deals with a lot more of that. Lynn actually would probably be able to give you a better idea as well, as she is on the planning.
Even if we decide tonight that this is a reasonable use for this property, the planning board is still going to have to research and deliberate on whether or how this can be used. All we're talking about tonight is whether this is an allowed use on that property.
Sure.
Drainage, traffic flow, all those things, I guarantee, if we approve it tonight, all of those things, the planning board is gonna be looking very hard at. So all your concerns really are planning board issues, which are perfectly legitimate and should be brought up.
We just, right now, are potentially, if, as Lynn said, if it's approved, we are we're kind of giving them the next step would be to go to planning. As it was brought up, this is probably going to go through multiple stages of planning.
Right.
This isn't something that's going to be built tomorrow, and it's not something that's going to be built next month. It's going to go through multiple stages of planning, multiple stages of zoning, based upon putting in fuel tanks and drainage and all, and that's all got to go through planning.
And even if we
and all
approve
of
it
that.
tonight, that doesn't mean this is going to happen based on what the planning board does.
And if there's wetlands back there, then that involves conservation as well. So there's a lot more to it. We're looking at it as conceivably, is this a viable option for this parcel of land? That's what we're looking at this point, and we're just so they're starting their groundwork in looking at and deliberating it. Certainly, what you're saying is very legitimate. The planning board is going to have. It would have more impact on the planning board. It has impact on us as well, but it will impact the planning board as well. And it would be something I would highly recommend discussing when it comes up to the planning board with them, so that they know, so that they can take a closer look at your yard and take a closer look at drainage, and work with them to maybe make it, to ease it out, or to put up a better plan, so to speak, for that.
Okay, so then if it gets approved tonight, that it goes to the planning board, we would get another letter notifying us when?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Anytime that they come before planning, I don't know conservation, but planning or zoning, you always will receive a letter.
Okay.
Even if they come back to zoning 3 more times, you'll receive 3 more letters, because you are in a butter.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. If you guys come back up. Fran had one more question for
Well,
you
I really didn't have a question.
before I get into that.
Okay.
So, is there anybody else who wants to speak against this petition? Okay, I'm going to close that portion of the public. There is a question or a comment from the board that I just wanted to have addressed. Fran?
Okay, this is a, well, it's a question. Where they are on Star Drive, they're off the road as it is now. And I believe you have all your gas tanks and everything there now, don't you?
No, we do not, no.
No gas tanks, just parking?
There's no bulk diesel tank, no.
Okay, the way I'm looking at it right now is you have a lot more residential houses up by where you want to put that lot in. It's more commercialized down by Star Drive than it is up in the north end.
May I? I don't mean to interrupt. I didn't.
Go ahead.
So first of all, we are completely, I'm glad that Ms. was it Footer spoke, and we certainly want to be good neighbors. We're certainly willing to work with folks. I believe that I believe that there is a immediate, there's one abutter north, but and then I think there's 2 more houses north of that, and then I think it's the lumber.
I think there's a few more houses than that there.
I believe I counted them earlier. I think there's 3, and But we understand that this is a commercial district with pockets of residential. We completely understand that, and we want to be good neighbors and great neighbors. We're willing to work through the planning process. Again, this is a conceptual plan, so to the extent that there's tweaks to be made to sort of accommodate the neighbors, we'll certainly do that. We'll have no right to build. We'll have to respect the wetlands out there. I can't speak, to the specifics or to the extent that there's current dumping out there. I mean, if anything, I believe that this proposal will sort of clean up the site potentially. So we're aware that there's, a residential house just to the north of Williams Street, and we're going to work that into the plan.
Okay, and then you have at least 2 or 3 houses across the street up just north of there.
I believe across the street, I believe it's a complex that's actually accessed off of, yeah.
I'm talking up by the pizza man, there's a house, you've got,
That's not even
but it's still going to affect them with the school buses, no matter how you look at it, whichever way the school buses go, those houses are going to be
That's more of a
affected.
planning from a traffic standpoint.
Yeah, but we can do traffic also. Okay.
And I might note that even though that the current location is farther south, those buses are making their way to DW Highway and then dispersing from there. So.
So you're gonna have to go left and right out of there. I mean, the traffic is, again, yeah, I mean, I know we can do I know what we can do as far as traffic goes. But this is gonna have to, that'll definitely.
Oh, I understand that, but I wanted to make the point that there's more residential north where, in that area than there is down at Star Drive.
Right. No, I get that. Oh, I get that. Tony?
Just out of curiosity, when did you pick this site in particular? Because of the central location? Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that. I don't know why. I'll say it again. How did you pick this location? I mean, did you pick it because it was centrally located and it was closer to the schools, or?
Yes, there for 2 reasons. There's for efficiencies in terms of location, it is more centrally located, reducing miles and length of the routes. But more importantly, is the existing location we are in now was misrepresented in the original lease when we moved in there, and we are exceeding capacity there. And this location has a lot more land associated with it, and the ability to grow again and support the district, for many more years to come.
Thank you.
Yeah, as well as we since we've the inception of our contract, we've been looking at other locations through Merrimack. I've continuously looked in Merrimack, and again, with consideration of the residential locations, the DW Highway, we've tried to stick to the DW Highway because of the zoning specific to commercial. The availability of property really is on DW.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
No.
Right, I'm gonna close the public hearing altogether. Discussions, motions? Excuse me.
So, I have a question, but we don't look at this from a traffic perspective, so it's not a relevant question. So, I mean, I guess from a zoning perspective, it is commercial land. So, in this case, I'd like to make a motion to grant Gregory E. Michael, Bernstein, Scher and Sawyer, and Nelson, PA, and Student Transportation Incorporated, and John Zyla, owner, variance under section 2.02.3 of the zoning ordinance to permit a school bus operation facility. The parcel is located at 534 Daniel Webster Highway and 6 William Street in the C2 General Commercial and Aquifer Conservation Districts and Wellhead Protection Area, tax map 60, lots 001-01 and 001-02, case number 2017-08. And again, with this particular item, should we grant this, the applicant must obtain site approval from the planning board for the proposed school bus operation facility.
Can I have a second? Linda seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
All right, it is 3-2-0. And next step would be the planning board, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you all for your time.
All right. So, with that being said, petition to appeal administrative decision under section 2.02.3. We are going to cancel that altogether, as there's no need to proceed further on that. And then we have discussion of possible action items.
Action item, how are we with potential applicants? Applicants for alternate
Needed-
positions?
no, yeah.
I recruit 10
Alternate.
hours a day. I don't have time to find
Yeah.
applicants.
Okay.
All right, so we are
Yes.
we are backed up on minutes here. So to move things along, we have a motion to approve Wednesday, December 28th, 2016 minutes. Do I have a second?
No, I'll second him.
You have to.
Nobody else.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, and so, what?
Abstain.
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 So we had, sorry, yep, go ahead.
When you have a breaking point, can you call me? I'd like to withdraw the application that's still before you. I don't think we formally addressed that.
Okay, we just withdrew it.
Oh, I
That's okay, we
Okay.
withdrew it, you didn't need to do
Without
anything.
prejudice?
Without prejudice.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No problem,
Thank you very much for your time.
no problem. It was 402 for the minutes.
No, there's only five. There's only 5 people.
Okay, all right, calm down, please, stop. 302, thank you. The only person here that doesn't yell at me. Abstaining would be Rich and Tony because they were not here. All right. This isn't an easy job, guys. All right. So, Wednesday, minutes for Wednesday, January, thank you, Lynn. Wednesday, January 25th, 2017. Can I have any questions, changes? This is all in favor? Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. So that is,
I abstain also. Should be Lynn and I.
No, I watched it
all right.
on the TV.
So
I can
it
vote.
is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 0, 1. Wow. You guys are killing me. All right.
Yourself.
Is there anything else?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Second. And we are adjourned. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great evening.